Hello everyone, my name is Sumit and I welcome all of you to BISP video series of Python. In this tutorial, I will be going to demonstrate you how to parse an XML file using Python. So parsing means how can we read and write the XML file by using Python. We have one XML file. So what is XML? Basically, XML stands for Extensible Markup Language. And you know that XML is very popular these days because it's a portable open source language and it allows programmers to develop applications that can be read by other applications regardless of operating system and or development language. So an XML file or the XML program which we have developed, it can be accessed by any of the programming language. And an XML is a markup language, like we have HTML or HTML. So it's a markup language we use to write tags within XML file. And XML is extremely useful for keeping track of a small to medium amount of data without requiring a SQL based backbone. So why I have specified here as without SQL based backbone? For example, if we want to store a small amount of data, so without setting up SQL Server, without storing the data in any of the database, we can store the data in an XML format, and we can use that XML file we can access that data with any of the programming language like Java or web application or any other programming language. So in this video, we'll be going to see how to create one XML file, and then we'll be seeing how to parse an XML file or how to read an XML file by using Python. So we need XML parsers to read the XML file. So we have got there are two files, there are two APIs basically to parse the XML files into Python. So there are two basically used APIs to XML data, SX and DOM. SX is simple APIs for XML, and DOM is Document Object Model API. Now in SAX, we can register callbacks for events of interest and then let the parser process through the document. This is useful when your documents are large or you have memory limitations. So it parses that file as it read it from the disk, and entire file is never stored in the memory. So it never store the data in the memory, and this document object model is store the data, it store the entire file into the memory, and it store the data into the memory, and it's read the data from the memory itself. And the difference between them is that first of all, the first difference is that it does not store the data into memory, it store the data into memory DOM. And because that if the data is stored in the memory has got a limited size, so that's why it is not suitable for large amount of file, and this is suitable for big files, big data files. So now it depends that what type of file you are going to use, and based on that you can select any of the API. Now to work or to use these APIs in the Python program, we need to install SX or DOM API by using pip installer. So how to install them? We'll go to CMD, and here I write pip install SX, or we can use install DOM. So if you have already installed, you will get a message that the library has already been installed. So as you can see here, I have insert a command here pip install DOM, and I'm getting a message that the requirement already satisfied, or this package has already been installed. In same manner, if I try to install the SX, I'll get a message for both of them, for this SX as well. So once it is done successfully, once the package or the library has been installed successfully, we'll be going to see how to write a code or how to write a program in Python and we'll see how to use both the APIs one by one. So before that, first of all, we'll have an XML file. So that's in my XML document. So you can see this XML document. It's a collection of movies. It contains the data of movies. So we have collection shelf, new arrivals, and we have tags, movie title, and so basically it's a movie title, movie tag, and the title is enemy behind, and the type and stars and description. These are various attributes. In same manner, this is the second movie, this one is third movie, and this one is fourth movie. So like this, in our collection we have got 4 movies, and now I'm going to demonstrate you that how can we access or how can we read this data into an Python program, into a Python, by using SAX and by using DOM APIs. So let's start with IDLE. So I open IDLE. This is an Python shell to write the program, to write the code or to execute the code. So I start a new file here. So you can see here I have created a file name as XML parser1.py, and I import the library xml.asx, and then I created one class here, movie handler, with one xml.asx content handler, and then we have one initialization function. This is like a constructor, and I set the values, I initialize the values to blank. Then I create one start element function here. This is dev start. So this is to initialize the variables, and this one to start the element, and this start element, it will check if the tag is equal to movie. So as you can see here, we have in XML parser, and this XML file, we have, if the tag is movie, it will read the data and it will display the print as a movie, and it will display the attributes as a title and print title here. So whatever is the title, it will print the title. Then it will print the type, format, year, rating, stars, and descriptions one by one, and it will set the current data is equal to blank. This is to set the current data, and it will read the current data one by one and print it. Then it will read the def character self content self dot current data is equal to type. This is again to read the values. So this one, basically whenever characters read one by one actual values, it will read the values, the current it will read the actual values, it will display this. And then that's the main function. In this main function, you see we have created an XML reader. First of all, we have created basically one parser is equal to xml.sax.make parser. So this XML parser, so sax.make parser method, basically this make parser method, it creates a new parser object and returns it, and the parser object created will be the first parser type the system finds. And the parser list, here we have specified this is an optional argument, we did not specify. So this is an optional argument within this parser. So even if we want to specify this one xml.sax.make parser, so in this bracket we can pass one parameter, we can pass the parser list as well, but this is an optional argument, so we are not going to pass any parameter here. Then next we have parser.set feature. This is to turn off the namespace, and xml.sax.handler.feature namespace 00 is to turn off, and to turn it on we'll specify 1 here. And this function, see, override the default context handler. So it will override the context handler here. Handler is equal to movie handler. So basically what is this context handler? This one. So we have this content handler. This is a content handler object. So this content handler, basically it's a tag and attributes to add the flavor of XML. A content handler object provides a method to handle various parsing events, and its owing parse called content handler method adds parser the XML file. So, and this is called at the start and end of each element. This content handler, it should call at the start and at the end of the each element. So if the parser is not in namespace mode, so we have a method here, start element and end elements are called. Otherwise the correspond method start element ns and end element ns are called. So we have already specified this. So now if we execute this, and the file which we are going to parse, that is the movies.xml, and this file I have stored in the same directory where I have stored this Python file, in the same directory, this Python 27 and XML parser1.py, it's in the same location. And now when we run it, when we execute it, so when I run this program, when I press F5, you can see the file has been successfully run, and I got the list of the titles, the details here, movie, enemy behind, and this is another movie, this is another movie, this is another movie. So as I told you, this SX, the library, the API which we are using here, SX library, this is sufficient. This is suitable if we are reading the data directly from the system, directly from the local files, because it will not upload the data into the memory, and it can read a large file as well. But let's suppose if we are reading small files, so for that we have DOM. We have the DOM API, the document object model API, and we can use this document object model API to parse the XML file by using Python as well. So let's see a program for this DOM as well. So you can see here this program, this file, basically in this file I have imported xml.dom.minidom import parse, and this open XML document. So this file I'm going to parse by using the DOM tree, this DOM object model, and it's a collection. So I created a collection, it's called DOM tree.document tree. Then I set if at attribute has shelf and the root element contains shelf, and it gets all the movies in the collection. So it get all the movies one by one in this collection stored in this movies, and it print details of each movie. To print the details of each movie, I check here if the movie dot attribute has title, then it will print the title, and it will print other details like we are getting from the collections basically. So we have child node, data, and type, format, rating, and description dot child nodes dot data. So this is the easiest way to read the data or to parse an XML file. The only difference is this will load the data into memory, and then it will read the data from the memory and display the result, display the output. So now when I execute it, it will display the same output. So this is how we can parse an XML file by using Python. That's all in this video. If you have any queries, you can visit our website www.bisptrainings.com. You can subscribe our YouTube channel for more videos on Python. I will be coming up some new topics and new videos in Python. Till then, have a nice day ahead. Goodbye.